at 6 p.m. and I will call to order the Freetown Board of Selectmen meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be available on our town's YouTube page. I'm going to next to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm sorry, I also forgot to ask, is there anyone else recording this meeting? No? Okay. Thank you. All right, we're gonna jump right into it. Agenda item number 1. Discussion and vote whether to approve the open session minutes from 3/9/2026 and 3/30/2026. Look through them, everything looked good. So
I'll make that motion.
all right, so I'll entertain the motion. You'll make the motion. I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cabral,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
We got a roll call because we're on Zoom.
All right, agenda item number 2, discussion and vote whether to authorize the fire chief to approve the ambulance abatements and write-offs. So as you all know, we approve these through our board, but in my eyes, this, when I read this, I'm like, this makes 100% sense. I mean, he's the one who's dealing with it, right? So to streamline it, to allow him to do it. I mean, I don't see any issue with it. I don't know if there's anything else to add to it, but it seems pretty straightforward of a decision to me.
It's going to send me the monthly reports so I can just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most of it's insurance write-offs anyway. There isn't a whole lot you can do about it. So it is just a formality. That would be easier if they could just do it.
Yeah, it's one less vote for us to call and one less thing for you guys to do. And they obviously know what they're doing. All right. So with that, I entertain a motion to authorize the fire chief to approve ambulance abatements and write-offs.
So moved.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Carvalho,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. Agenda item number 3, discussion and vote to place a memorial bench at Hathaway Park in honor of Mariano Resendiz Jr. and which funding sources to utilize.
So let me give you a little bit of background on this, and I know Chad was here probably and might want to speak as well. When Mr. Mariano Resendiz passed away, there was donations sent into the town for work on Hathaway Park and whatnot, and there's still some funding left in that account. I think around $1,400 is left available, and I think the purpose was that a bench in his memory should be placed at the Hathaway Park. And why I say funding sources, because it might run a little bit more than $1,400. So what I wanted to suggest is that we use the remaining donation funds that were donated when he passed away and use the Selectmen's donation account for anything over the cost of the bench. Chandler's here. This is a family member of his, and so he might have some insight as to the bench, where they'd like to put it, what they might like to see. So I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you very much. My name is Chandler, and I had the pleasure of being the son-in-law of Mariano Resendiz Jr. I'm Dan Resendiz's partner. He was instrumental in creating Hathaway Park when it was nothing. So his brother, Ken Resendiz, got a group of people together, from my understanding and my memory of it. They went down, cleaned up the park, made it a beautiful place for the community. And he was also a selectman for 26 years for the town of Freetown. And at his funeral and afterwards, we took donations in. Dan said he believes it was around $30,000. And I think a lot of that went to the play area for the kids that's down there. And we were told there would be a sign or something memorializing him. And so you guys came up with a bench idea, which is awesome. I presented it to Dan. He's like, absolutely. And so Luann provided this catalog, and we went through, picked out a bench, and then we'll have it inscribed with his name and some other something else on it, and we haven't figured out quite what yet. But maybe the dates of his life, or we aren't sure exactly. But it'll have something nice to memorialize him, because he dedicated his life to the town, which he loved so much. His family has been here since the 1850s, and the whole Resendiz family contributed in many ways to to the town of Freetown. So it'd be a great honor to be able to put this in. And I know that the bench we chose, it's $1,139
Okay.
for the bench itself, and I'm assuming that includes the engraving or routering, whatever it is.
Okay.
Perfect, yeah.
And the reason why we were doing that, there's a couple options. You can router in it or engrave into this weather-resistant material, or you can put a brass plaque. But somebody could always take the plaque off, so we're trying to think of something more permanent. And from what I understand, it'll last a really long time, many, 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 many years. So, that's the idea. And Dan said thank you. He couldn't be here. He had to work tonight. So I'm here on behalf of both of us. So
Do you have any idea of where you want it?
Chief Rose.
we
Maybe can't.
wanted to go over this past weekend, go down there, and he ended up having to fill into work over the weekend, so we weren't able to do it. So I don't
Well, you
know.
can-
I would
we
say
can talk
we
about it
can
more.
talk about it. Yeah, because I wanted to go sometime this week. I'll take a ride down. Maybe Dan and I can both go tomorrow after I get out of work and just take a look around, so you guys can,
Yeah,
you probably want to move on it, sooner rather than later. So we'll take a look and see what he thinks. I'll see what Dan thinks, and
It's taken a few years to get here, right? So I'd like to
Yeah.
keep the ball
Keep-
rolling on it.
yeah, he passed in 2015. So
I'd like
11
to-
years,
I'd like
but
I'd like to complete that.
because
Yeah, it's all set.
Speaking to.
oh, a little bit. Okay. Oh, all right. Sorry, I can hear myself, so I thought it was too loud. Sorry.
because we obviously want to put it somewhere
Yeah.
where it's going to be seen and used. And,
Right.
One of the first places I think of is around the playground, because parents are watching their kids on the playground
Right.
sit on the bench and use the bench or whatever. But then there's also
Yeah.
the water,
There's
right?
the- right. So there's the water side, right, and that's what we're like. Or me, I'm thinking, should it be in the playground? Should it be in the water? Near the water, and same exact thoughts. Yep, but the playground area would probably be good, along the edge or something. I think there's a tree over there too, so maybe over there.
I mean, you said you guys go
So-
and look, and you can brainstorm with Debbie, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm assuming we can get Chuck to put down a pad.
Yeah, I think that.
Cement
yeah, you'll have to do a pad of some
Yeah,
kind.
absolutely.
Right.
Or the bench will.
Disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we definitely take care of that. And like I said, it sounds like there's going to be enough funding in the donation account to take care of it. I just wanted authorization if we want a couple hundred over,
yeah.
then we could take it out of the
Yeah, so we'll
selectmen's
still call it
donation
into
account.
the vote.
Yeah.
Because in that way,
Then it's done and I don't
it's
have to
done.
keep
You can
coming
come
back.
back for it. So
All right. Yeah, and the pad should probably be as flush to the ground as possible, so
Yeah.
people don't trip over it. Because I've seen them where they install them high up, and you're falling. Their kids are around, so probably flush with the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that's that.
questions, concerns?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Chandler. I appreciate it. All right. So with that, I'm going to entertain a motion to place a memorial beach at Hathaway Park in honor of Mariano Resendiz Jr. and use the Selectmen donation account to cover any overages if need be.
Over the park.
Over the-
Over the donation account that was donated in honor when he passed away.
Yes.
So moved.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Carvallo?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. Agenda item 4. Discussion and vote whether to accept the donation of a memorial bench from the family of William and Jermaine Winters and suggested placement thereof. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are they on Zoom, Luann?
Yep, someone's trying to get in right now.
I know they had submitted something to the town that they would like to place a memorial bench as well at the park.
did it say that they wanted it at that park? I was trying to see if there was. something that showed where they would.
I don't think they suggested where, so I was just, I put that on the agenda that, to have that part of the discussion.
Mhm.
We could also ask for Chuck's input. So basically, this would be accepting the donation of the bench if the board is willing to do that. And they would give us the bench and I would probably still have Chuck install it in similar fashion.
Yeah. Any luck, Luann? Is it?
They're not on here. No.
No. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I guess, does it make sense to put two benches there in that same park, or do we try and put one? I don't know, but I'm trying to think of the gazebo or
The
bandstand. Oh, I said gazebo. I'm sorry, bandstand.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Their note here did specify that Hathaway Park, I think.
Oh,
is
it
what
did.
they
I-
wanted.
Okay. I apologize.
Sorry.
No, please. I'm glad you said it.
It's just they do a lot in town for the, like the fireworks
Mhm.
and stuff, so they're in Hathaway.
I mean, you could, I mean, I think there's plenty of room at that park to
Yeah, well-
put seating, right? You could put some up on the hill,
Yeah.
because people sit up there or walk the street a lots of times, they walk down to that park.
It's actually a really good idea.
You know, you could put, so that you're not taking up space, but like you say, near the playground, near the water. I think there's numerous locations to put it, and I think it's big enough for that, and it's a nice attribute to the park.
Mhm.
Because I see people using that park every day. I drive by all hours when I drive by, there's always somebody there.
Mhm.
So a lot of people by the water, a lot of people fishing, kids playing basketball. It is used quite a bit.
But then maybe, we can play off of what Chandler just said, right?
Yeah.
Where we have two different spots. Now, actually, you brought up a third, so we'll have a spot to put it,
Yeah.
right? Based off of what we determined with the first bench. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think it's a great honor.
We can ask them for their opinion and then, go from there.
Absolutely. Do you have anything?
I'm just reading their letter right now. It's
Yeah. Yeah, it's
they
weird.
wanted that Hathaway Park.
Yeah, it does call it out in there. And
Yeah. It
so, yeah.
makes sense to have theirs.
Well,
and
I mean,
theirs at-
I think they want theirs at Hathaway Park too. So I think
Yeah.
it's not really, I mean, there's as we just discussed, you could put it down by the water. We could put it at the playground. We could put it up top, which I actually, someone who really likes the park or is proud of the park and could have something to overlook the park too. So that's, but then you have people walking. So you could have, so. I think there's plenty of space that won't look like it's out of place by having two in the same park. So,
Mike,
Yeah.
Is your mic on, Chad?
yeah, right.
So I have a thought about, because now we're thinking, the winters want something, and my father-in-law is getting something, and we could do a bench program for the parks if people want to memorialize
yeah, I mean, that's something.
somebody in town. So structure it somehow, but
Yeah.
that way we can get more benches for people to sit on in different areas, especially like you guys are talking across the top, right, where people sit and then look at the fireworks. There's already something built in there
Mhm.
down by the water. Just a thought. If there are other people in town that
Yeah.
should be memorialized, or that other families might want to do that
Yeah, I mean,
It's
something
kind of a nice thing to
for us to
offer.
look into.
for longevity. Yeah.
And like you say, possibly at the bandstand eventually, right? It would be nice to have some seating around the perimeter.
But for now, we got two, which is pretty amazing. Both in the same meeting. This is the first time I've done it in all the years here, and I got two right in a row. So, you good?
I'm good.
All right. So with that, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of a memorial bench from the family of William and Jermaine Winters and work with town administrator on placement of the bench.
Perfect.
So moved.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Carvalho.
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. Aye. Agenda item number 5, discussion and vote on next steps regarding the Department of Environmental Protection letter regarding public water supply. So I believe we got some gentlemen here.
Yeah, and you may have somebody on Zoom as well.
We do, okay.
Do we have,
Welcome, guys. I was gonna say, do you need to open your meeting? You open the meeting.
I gotta open the meeting. I'd like to make a motion that we open the meeting of the Freetown Water and Sewer Commissioners here at the police room on whatever time it is, 6:20 on today's the 22nd,
27.
7th?
27.
27th, that's all close.
Mhm.
All
I'll
in
make the
favor?
motion.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we have this is a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
Paul Sadik, yes.
Bob Parker, yes.
Okay.
Welcome, gentlemen.
I think the Board of Health also had a meeting posted, but I don't think they're gonna have a quorum, but do we have somebody from the Board of Health, Luann, on Zoom?
I believe the health agent is on. Are you
Okay.
there, Kevin?
Yes,
Okay. So at some point, Margaret might show up just to cancel her meeting. So if you see her on Zoom, Luann, let us know.
Okay.
I assume you've all seen the letter that came from the DEP.
Yes. So this is all in regards to public drinking water supplies at all our town-owned buildings, right? So basically, they're looking for us to determine what areas would be considered public drinking water supply, right?
Yeah,
Based on the
yeah.
parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it more like they're looking for the public buildings that have wells,
Yes.
that sort of thing? And that really doesn't, water department doesn't have anything to do with that.
Mhm.
That's basically the health department. The way we feel anyway.
Mhm.
Well, there's no doubt. Wells do not come under the Freetown Water and Sewer Department. We have our own water system.
Mhm.
That's what we manage.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, this is something completely out of the blue.
Mhm.
And nothing has changed with these facilities. All of a sudden, we have this letter. Why? Did anybody ask DEP why we have this letter?
To my knowledge, no. You haven't heard anything, right, as to why this came about?
I don't know why. I believe the DEP was probably in town for some other reason, and maybe they had a question regarding this, but I don't know. I know that this letter calls for us to make an appointment with the DEP to have a staff member accompany them to the buildings, to review the bylaws. So that's kind of where we're at with this. This is just to make you all aware of it and to see who are we gonna assign to go to each building to determine whether they fall under the public water supply rules and regs.
Wouldn't this
And-
be somebody from the health department that would go to these facilities? Because we have nothing to do with wells. You know that.
Right. I think that the reason that I wanted to involve the water board was because if in fact it's considered a public water supply, right, we're gonna have to do some required testing and some other things. And where we have Whitewater do a lot of our work within town, we may be looking for Whitewater to do a supplemental contract to work to do this as well, right? So that was kind of why I wanted to involve your board, and because I'm gonna need your resources to do some of that. Not your resources, not your budget, but Whitewater.
Well, if this comes true, that we have to do this, you're going to make this part of the water department? These public water supply wells? Is that the plan?
I mean,
I mean, if that's the plan, that's the plan, but we need to know about.
I don't know that we have a plan. I don't have a plan. This is sort of, news. This is brand new and it's something that we're not there yet. The first step is to comply with this letter and reach the DEP and schedule these on-site meetings for each building supplied by a well. Clearly, like the town hall has public water, the annex has public water, the Hathaway Library doesn't have water. So
Makes it easy.
it does make it easy. So it's probably more like the COA, I think is the one that comes to mind where you may meet the threshold for the 25 people.
Couldn't
Uh,
couldn't this building meet that threshold as well?
I don't know. We'll have to look at it because it's for so many days, right? So that's the things that we're gonna have to look at. I know that the COA keeps track of their people coming and going, and so does the library in East Freetown. This building, I'm not so sure on that, so we'll have to look at that, and that is something we'll have to analyze with the DEP agent.
Is tracking the amount of members or citizens that are in each meeting here would be tough, and how often meetings happen. So do they go based off of the capacity of the room, or do they go based off of?
I don't think so, and I think that, we'd have to have that conversation and do a little bit of homework on it. I also know that, both the COA and this building has filtration systems in place that we have put in place, so, and they're up and functioning, and Carl maintains them, so I don't know the details of what public water supply entails. I'm thinking periodic testing. But this is sort of a preliminary, like step one. Where do we go? That we got this letter, we need to respond to it. How do we get to the next step?
Well, this would be a town expense as opposed to a water department expense. The
Unless you wanna
the
pay.
water department shouldn't be paying for this.
Right, I think this preliminary part of it is not, shouldn't be a huge expense at this juncture. But one of the things I said, maybe we get a quote from Whitewater if we have to do the testing, so that I know what the expense is, where we're right in the middle, like, we're finishing the budget season. Do I need to add money into some budget to pay for the testing moving forward?
I think I personally wouldn't have a problem with our department overseeing the testing by Whitewater, like we oversee the testing that Whitewater does now.
Right,
My concern is the allocation of time and money. I mean, we run our department as an enterprise fund with 690 customers that pay for everything. In fact, this year, our department actually had to buy the truck. The last time we had to buy a truck, the town paid for it. So, the 690 customers are footing the bill for everything that has to do with water, except when a hydrant gets damaged by a car, which just happened. But I wouldn't have any issue as long as we come up with a way to compensate our department like we compensate your department for indirect cost. You'd have to compensate our department for the time that our people monitor this. If this is something you want us to do, the commissioners will have a discussion, and I think we would agree to it as long as the financial end doesn't fall on the customers that we have.
and yeah, and I understand that. Like I said, we're not quite there yet. I have no idea what it would cost. I have no idea.
And how often you have to do it. Every day?
I don't know that. I'm trying to get the
Well,
school.
the
to send
schools
me
do it. The schools do it.
Yeah,
Do they do it every day
I don't think so.
to test the water?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Or does Kevin know?
Hmm?
Kevin,
I'll briefly interject just who I don't know who's running the meeting.
Yep.
If I could.
Absolutely.
The schools are going to be monitoring every day. They're responsible for monthly testing, quarterly testing. They're a public water system. And that's exactly what would happen in these instances. It's the same requirement for all municipalities, for all restaurants that are on wells. You service more than 25 different individuals for more than 60 days a year. You're considered by the law to be a PWS. Now, typically, if you're going to develop a groundwater source, there's going to be identifying the area, making sure it has setbacks and radiuses, with limited to no activity within them. Then there would be subsequent testing for a duration of time so you can get a consistency in results. Then there'd be a determination relative to treatment, filtration. Do we have to chlorinate like they do at the schools? And then from there, there would be a determination on the need for oversight. Obviously, there would be the requirement for water systems operators, treatment operators, more than likely, if you're going to be doing treatment. So there would be the perpetual cost, so to speak, the yearly cost with that. It's just to get a survey done to see what we need. You're talking tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, the schools have spent a lot of money. I know they're applying for a grant now for $25,000 just to combat a more recent issue that we're having, you know, with the results of the well testing that they've had up there. So this is not. I don't think this is something that's just, oh, we're going to have Whitewater come in and do a bit of testing. And I wish DEP were being more forthcoming on exactly. I would anticipate that when they come out, they'll meet with the representatives from the town and make their determination whether we decide a building requires it or not. I think they're within their authority and they would make that determination. And again, there's an infrastructure, certain activity within the well radius for a public water supply is limited. So not having any conversations, just educating myself. I haven't talked to anybody at DEP, but there could be a lot of time, effort, and money that has to go into solving this or getting into compliance. My humble and professional opinion is that not all of our facilities serviced by wells meet that minimum threshold. I have my opinion on which ones do. But I don't think that every one of them do. So, I know someone said, is this something that all of a sudden they're doing? Yes. Simple answer. They showed up at the COA one day, and had told subsequent conversations with us that that's the direction that the DEP is going in to ensure compliance. And what they're finding is, while a lot of the restaurants and all are good, but municipalities have been, I guess, short on doing that. So I think with the attention that's already been paid to our elementary school, and they're doing a good job, they're in compliance, with the stuff they need to, and they're working with DEP on some of the other issues, as you would with a groundwater supply that's old. We and that area came on their radar when they look at setbacks and what's within that setbacks and what's the activity. Several town buildings are there, and that was the impetus. That's how they showed up here in town.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the insight and all of it. So, Paul, I believe you had something. No, you're good. So Kevin, I just have one quick question for you, because I know you're not on for this, but not here to answer questions. But have you heard of them going to a lot of other towns doing the same thing? Because that was a question I had received.
So, no, I have not personally heard of specific towns.
Yeah.
I was just told by the two gentlemen that showed up. And again, it wasn't that they showed up in any, ill manner. They weren't strong-arming. They showed up and legitimately were asking questions and said that this is something that's on their radar. And, I think they might be like a lot of agencies where, over time things might not have been at the forefront. Well, now maybe this is, but whether whether they're going after, other towns or not, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jared, when you said this is about public drinking water and public health and the concern that the town has for it. I think ultimately there is going to be a responsibility. We just need to figure out at what locations and what that entails. Are we going to be able to utilize the existing water and systems that we have, or are they going to require us to do an extended testing protocol? I think there's a lot of questions that people, I dare say smarter than me, right, that have a little bit more, experience with, groundwater source development, that we enlist their services or at least reach out to them, to get a better understanding. And hopefully when DEP shows up, they can at least add some clarity, to it, right? Because quite honestly, if we have to do it at all of our buildings, you know,
Yeah.
you know, you got the two ball fields, right? You got the white, your police station, fire station, COA, and the highway bump.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it's definitely there's a lot behind it. And the problem is there's a lot behind it with very little answers. And that's what everyone's sitting here scratching their head saying, well, what do we do? What's the next step? And it can be a big issue. You know,
well, yeah, Jared. And again, not to cut. I mean, I think the letter was pretty specific in that they've asked us to do our own assessment,
Mhm.
but then they say in the next sentence that they then want to come down and then they will make their own assessment. And I don't know what level of self-assessment they're looking for. Are they looking for us to go to outside? Are they looking for us to just do a very rudimentary, hey, here's the buildings we think. And, you know, so my suggestion would be that we try to work with DEP and not spend any money on the up front to figure out what buildings, if they're just going to come down and tell us which ones, in their humble opinion, require.
listen, I couldn't agree more. Paul, you got something for him? Sorry.
Yeah, when the people from DEP came down, who did they speak with?
But that,
He was asking when the DEP came in, who did they speak with initially?
oh, they started at the Council on Aging, and then they left there. I found out that they had been there, I think, and then I think they came back over there because they were walking in the ball field to look for the well in the ball field, and they came back, and then they asked to come down to the Board of Health and look for records. I gave them, and I had a conversation. I explained to them they could have done the courtesy of calling us. And then they left and said that they would be in contact with the town after that. That was several months ago.
All right. Yeah.
And we're just getting the letter now?
April 9th.
Kevin, is this a new law? Or has this been on the books for years?
No, the groundwater rule. So Paul, if we've kind of done, and I don't know, I would imagine there might be a difference if you're looking at a large system, but the town, specifically the water department, when they were looking to create their own water source, looked into the cost of developing a water source. It's in a report that the water department has when we were looking at options of, you know, getting water from New Bedford, creating that. And so there may be some insight if people want to read that to see what the protocol might be. It's pretty straightforward within the law. You can simply go to mass.gov and groundwater rules, developing a new well. It's cut and dry. It's a very extensive list of minimum testing requirements to develop that well. Again, depending on those testing results, we could be treating, we could be filtering, you know, anything from VOCs to iron, manganese, PFAS, any number of things are going to have to be tested for. And depending on what their limits are, we would need to, again, do the same thing that the school is doing. They filter and then they treat, right? They treat with chlorine, they chlorinate. Which requires, I believe, a treatment license, which requires an outside operator or an operator licensed by the state. So no, this isn't a new law. Any public water supply that's from the ground, when you're developing a new one, that's pretty straightforward. So like the campground, Fort Farm Campground, and the Boys and Girls Club camp, they're both PWSs. They have an outside operator. They have the filings they do yearly. They, very similar, Paul, to what the water department does now. Maybe on a bit of an abbreviated schedule, but very, very similar. There's going to be, monthly, quarterly, annually. There's going to be lead and copper. Well, maybe not the lead and copper, but there's going to be things like that that are going to have to be tested. And then there's the sanitary survey. Well, I think they're only every 5 years for that. But it's going to be very similar, so you're looking at, if there's multiple locations, you're looking at an extensive operation, a contract.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, we still don't have all the answers, but I would say that we need to go back to the DEP and let them guide the ship as to what they want, right? Because we're all sitting here and we have some educated people in the room with this stuff, but we still don't know everything. So I think we need to, why are we going to hire someone to come in and test and spend money to say these are the facilities, and then have the DEP come in and say otherwise? Really doesn't make any sense. So yeah. So I think we need to let them guide it. So really the only issue is then who do we have work with them? David, you got my you got my eyes. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, as long as you guys are okay with it, we have David work with them. And then, I think Paul brings up an excellent point that you are an enterprise fund. So if this does turn into a bigger issue, then we'll work with you guys. We're not trying to, do something for nothing and then not give it back to you in return. So
Since I mentioned enterprise and you mentioned enterprise, I'm going to say what I've been talking about for years. We should not be an enterprise fund. DEP was surprised that we were an enterprise fund. They said, you're such a small, how can you be an enterprise fund? Okay.
well,
We should consider that.
yeah, I mean, I guess something we can look into and talk about. It's a legitimate thing, Paul, right? Like if you're saying that, because all we're doing is passing numbers around, right? At the end of the day, we're all servicing the same people in town and doing the same stuff. So yeah, if it makes your jobs easier at the same time, then amen. So I don't know everything behind that, but I will say that we'll look into it and see what we can do about bringing it all in. So David, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
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 And,
I can serve as the representative to
yeah.
meet with DEP. Absolutely.
And I don't know if you guys are all set with it. I don't know if you want to call a vote out on it. Do you need a vote on it? It's up to you.
Yeah, sure. I don't think we do. We can have David be the representative.
Yeah, and we can, I guess what you're asking us is that as the water commission, would we accept this additional responsibility?
Just to have him work with us, just so that
our department would accept the additional responsibility until we sort this thing out.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Paul Sadek, yes.
Bob Parker, yes. Motion's carried.
Thank you. I just, for reasons of clarity, right, for us to have the vote on it makes sense. So yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you have anything on it, but I really think that that's kind of the way that we start this, and then it'll play itself out, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this more. But yeah, I think really that's kind of it. So, all right, so
Do you guys want to just follow up with that same?
Yeah.
vote?
yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, so. Yeah, just give me 1 second. So, all right, so I'm going to entertain a motion that we have David in the water department deal with the initial assessment with the DEP on determining everything as far as the public drinking water supply.
Are we responsible to reach out to them and set up this, so to speak, inspection or?
I'll work.
Appointment?
I can work with you and Chandler
Okay.
with that, if that's acceptable.
Well, I just feel like it would be a more proactive thing to reach out to them, considering they sent us what
Yeah.
can be assumed a letter of consent,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah,
comply
I
with
think
them.
Debbie can.
I think being proactive
The
about
three
it
of
would
you
be.
can work together.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
agree. I agree with that. Let's do that. So,
Yeah, because in the letter, it says to contact them within 4 weeks.
Contact them,
Yeah.
us to contact them,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I'll
Alright.
make that one.
all right, I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Camrello?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. Jen? No, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. At 6:46. Mhm.
Thank you, Kevin.
Gentlemen, thank you. I do appreciate you coming down. Mhm.
It's not open yet? Oh, man. Oh,
You guys have a great night.
aye.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just give them a second to. All right, agenda item number 6, discussion and vote to have an employee retiring after January 1, 2026 to contribute to their health insurance at the same percentage as they were when they were an active employee.
I'm just gonna correct the date, July 1st, 2026. You said January.
Oh, I'm sorry, July 1st, 2026. I definitely don't want it to be January again.
No, it's
So I guess a little bit of background on this.
So a little bit of background. Obviously, there's a couple pieces to this. Our benefits that we provide our employees, we continue to pay health insurance when they retire, because they can retire before the age of 65. So if they retire any time before the age of 65, they stay on the Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, family plan, individual plan, whatever they have. And the town consistently now pays what their active rate is on that portion of it, which is 75-25 currently for most employees. When they turn 65, they have to get a Medicare supplement, right? It's the law. They have to go on Medicaid, Medicare. And when they hit to that point, for some reason, I'm not sure why, we were paying 95% of the supplement.
90,
And
right?
90, well, we were paying 95,
Oh,
which was against the law statutorily. So if you remember a couple years ago, we changed the law, we brought it to town meeting, got the law enacted, 32B, and then the selectmen voted to change the contribution rate to 90-10, because there was some discussion that there was a deal made back when they were trying to get employees to go to maybe a less expensive plan, that was like how they negotiated it, yeah, at 90-10. So we continue to be at 90-10, and of course, as the expenses continue to rise, I am looking for ways to lessen the burden to the town. And it seems odd to me that you'd be at 75-25 when you're working, but when you retire and hit Medicaid, it's 90-10. So, of course, not knowing all of the historical value, I don't want to go in the face of somebody that negotiated the deal and that the town has promised them this deal. I don't want to change that. So my thought process, and I've talked about this, I've brought it up at the Insurance Advisory Committee, that I wanted to do this, that when you retire, it's already 75-25 for the first portion, but when you hit Medicaid, it's 75-25, or the same rate as when you were active employee, because it just doesn't seem right, right why you would go up to 90%. So that's the vote. It just requires a vote of the Board of Selectmen. It doesn't require a town meeting, and it would become effective this July 1. So anybody that's already existing stays at their current 90-10. And I think it's the easiest, fairest way to accomplish what I think ultimately everybody should be at the same ratio. Everybody should be paying, it should be active employees and all retirees should be at the same rate.
Mhm.
And that really is the law. It should be all the same rate. But we've been doing it this way for a long time, and I think we'd get a lot of pushback, and I don't want to hurt the seniors that can't really afford it at this point.
yeah.
So that's why.
So I was part of the negotiating
Were
team
you?
during that time. And that was a big thing when the select board at the time wanted everyone to go to 75-25. And we had a lot of feedback from retirees. And that was their big thing to keep it at 90-10. And that's what was agreed upon then. I think the retirees even did their own little thing with the select board and came in. So you're saying that people that retire, even when it was at the 75-25, is still doing the 90-10? Yeah,
Mhm.
see, that wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be the ones that were collecting 90-10 when they retired, were going to continue doing it that way.
And I don't have a, I mean, I don't, right, I don't have a lot of, because there's, I think it's 2013, like I have some prior to 2013 that they are still actually even on the regular insurance because they're not Medicare eligible and they're at the 90-10. But yeah, if you just retired last year
You
and
go
you
to
turn 65 this year, you go to 90-10.
And what you're saying is that it was
wasn't-
supposed.
it was
wasn't
supposed to be
be
just
that
the
way.
ones that had already retired were
So-
supposed to keep it at 90-10. They were concerned.
Mhm.
And everyone else that was agreeing to the 75-25 would also take that 75-25 when they retired.
Can we look into that a little bit deeper and see if there's any literature that we have in regards to that? Would there be anything that we could find that would state that based on union
So I can-
negotiations in the past?
I
Because I just want,
remember-
I don't want to rush a decision and then find
know-
out that, it was something else.
Someone that was very involved was Walter
Mhm.
Zawicki. He would know. He would probably have the paperwork for it and everything, whatever we decided at that time.
I think he's where I've gotten some of the history from. Paul Sadek
Yeah.
also, like, he
Paul-
should have
Paul-
stayed.
yeah,
He had a
true.
lot of history on this too, because he's one of the ones that
He
told me.
was still, I believe, a reserve for us at that time and part of negotiations as well.
Because you know what I mean? I'm not saying,
I
I'm not saying I
honestly,
necessarily disagree or agree with it, but I'm just saying I don't want to rush a decision and find out that we told people certain things and then we're changing against
Walter
them.
was part of the insurance, he's the insurance advisory committee, so we did have this discussion, and he didn't seem to have an issue. He understood what I was doing because
Yeah.
I don't want to go backwards because I think those people bargained for the 90-10,
Mhm.
and I don't want to disrupt them.
Mhm. And we're not going to disrupt them. They're
Right.
going to stay on it.
Right.
This is just for new people.
Just new, and I do have a couple of retirees that are coming. I've talked to them and they're okay with it.
Mhm.
I do have a couple that I know are retiring this year, and I had that conversation just because you don't want to hurt people. This isn't to hurt people, but at some point the town has to.
Yeah.
Our budget for health insurance this year is $2.3 million.
Mhm.
I think it's higher than the fire department, lower than the police department, but we've got the school, PD, health insurance, right? So you just have to really look at where it is in comparison to our budgets and how expensive it is. And people are living longer and I think there are more, it's just getting to the point where we can't sustain it. And we
Yeah.
need to
No, and
find
I think
ways
that
to
if we,
be-
especially if it was called out
I'm
before,
pretty confident that's
that
what
that was the
If
way
you
it
were
was,
still
then that's
working, you
what
were
it, that's
retired
what it
with-
should be.
with
I mean,
what-
ask Walter and Paul Sadek to get more information to make sure, and I can see what I can find for paperwork. I don't know what there'll be for paperwork, but I
Yeah.
can try to at least get the historical
Well,
value.
yeah, if we can get something from them, at least, it will
Okay,
make.
we
me
could
feel
move
better.
this to
So,
the
yeah.
agenda.
I should say we push it off till the next agenda. I mean, hopefully we can get something out of them quick, and
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
for information. So, I'm going to drop
Continue.
agenda item
Oh.
table, agenda item 6. Agenda item number 7, discussion on complaint on roadways by railroad tracks 79, Forge and Malbone. So,
So yeah, I got a complaint from somebody regarding this, and they were supposed to come to the meeting, but regarding the roadway there where the railroad tracks redid the roadway, putting in the crossings, right, where the intersection is with the railroad tracks are at the top of Forge Road. And I don't know if you recall
is it
that there was a big pothole there that that we were complaining. I was trying to get them to repair that because the roadway there wasn't built correctly, and then this big sinkhole came. They said it was runoff from the house that was built on the hill, but the house was there before before they did the work. So they did come and repair it, and it looks like it's deteriorating again. And their concern is, why should the town be on the hook for this when this was the work that the MBTA did? So I thought I would bring it to the light, but I will do some more work on this as well. And this person should be hopefully at the next meeting, can give you some more details. And I did not speak to Chuck, and I meant to, and I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. But I mean, it's a legitimate concern that if they did work on the roadway and within a year or two, it's already fallen apart. And that's what, when you started saying it, that's what I was thinking of initially, was that pothole that they came in and were trying to blame on someone else, but
Yeah.
inevitably fixed. So, yeah, because they're going to end up coming to, if we don't do this, then we're going to be being on the hook to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not fair. So,
I think that, and if it's happening there, is it gonna happen? We have all these crossings. We have 13 crossings. Is it going to happen at all of them? And then we're fixing the road everywhere. So
exactly.
that was what that discussion was.
Yeah. So it looks like there'll be some more to come on that, but I appreciate it. Agenda item number 8, discussion and vote whether to issue town employee board committee photo IDs and process to complete. So it looks like we got some feedback on this. This was initially brought up due to different boards and people having to go on private properties or properties in general and wanting to be known that they are actually in part of the town, right? So we did get some feedback on this from a couple of different people, making sure that we were aware. So it does seem like there might need to be some more work done behind this. I'm just trying to get to it.
We have Chief Rose on the Zoom as well.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chief Rose, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you, Jared?
Great, thank you. I know one of the letters that came across was from you. I don't know if you want to give any insight to this.
Sure. One of the issues the police department has dealt with over the years is a lot of town employees or entities within town government are looking for a issued ID card of their identity as a town government employee. Now, for years, the police department, in part of statute, were required to have a police ID identifying police officers. And that's why it's always been very important for law enforcement to have IDs with them that goes along with the badge, identifying them as a police officer. And over the years, it's changed. 30, 40 years ago, we were creating our own IDs and laminating them with a picture on it, and it identified our name, our rank, date of appointment, and expiration date of the card. That was all done internally, and we were able to manage that. Later on, when we became part of the accreditation process, it's actually an accreditation standard that we have to have department IDs issued with that information I just mentioned to you. But what's more concerning is the town overall does not have a general process or a policy on how it deals with all the other entities in town government. And in the past, it's been pushed to the department to make IDs. Occasionally, an ID has been made here and there, but there really should be a legitimate process that the town has in place to authorize an employee or an appointee with an ID card. I had mentioned in my letter that at least the town should consider just that, having a policy, having a form available to be able to identify what the person's title should be, the proper name, the authority of who's giving this ID to this person, and then process an ID card for that person. So there should be some steps in place. It's a big recommendation. It shouldn't be on the burden of the police department to authorize and grant these ID cards, but I think the town going forward should create a process.
Yeah, I agree, and I also have a letter here from town clerk, kind of reiterating what you had already said, right? Just having policies in place, and as far as collecting back badges because, you know, badges, people change, boards change. So having everything clearly written out. So the problem is how do we come up with the process? Who do we put in charge of coming up with the process? What's the process look like? Because I do agree with the initial concern about people having some sort of badge to show who they are, especially if they're walking onto a citizen's private property. So
Chief, do you have a policy in place for the IDs?
We do. We have an internal police policy, and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Yeah.
But you know, keep an idea that look, a lot of appointments are usually done yearly, so you could be making an ID card every year. That's something the town has to consider. We normally issue our ID cards in conjunction with our license to carry cards, and for that reason is that we know when their LTC is about to expire, we're also reissuing them a new ID card. The ID card is actually property of the Freetown Police Department. So where that person goes, that ID card goes. When that employee leaves, that ID card comes back to the police department. These are all things that the town has to consider going forward in dealing with this ID card process. And again, be happy to share our policy with you folks, and you can come up with some type of idea where the town wants to go with it.
Yeah, that would be a great starting point for us to work on a policy, to piggyback off of yours and just change it to make it more suitable for the rest of the town needs. Also, the appointments, we are trying to transfer the appointments so that they equate the terms as opposed to yearly reappointing everybody. So that might minimize the amount that we have to do. So I'd love to look at your policy and then see if we can adapt it to our needs and bring it back before the board.
I'll have that forwarded over to you tomorrow.
thank you, Chief. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I think it'll be a good starting point to Deb's point, and we'll take it from there. And then we'll have to figure out about making them and yeah.
I believe the old police equipment, Cheryl has access to that, what they used to use to make it. I do believe she does have that. I will tell you in Hanson, we had placards, you know, with our picture and who we were. I was a planner. I would go on people's property, so I'd have that. We had the vocational school make them. So that's an alternative if we can't do it in-house. But I do believe Cheryl has the equipment. She might need training, I don't know, but she can possibly do it at the clerk's office.
It sounds like we have a good starting point, and hopefully we can get this rolling pretty quick so that way people have that and feel comfortable with it. So cool.
Makes sense.
I agree. So, all right. So I mean, at the end of the day, we can still call out a vote, I guess, but it's really, we don't have, the,
Yeah, do you want
the
me to just work on the
process. I think,
process?
yeah.
Vote on that one, I can get them
That's what I'm
together.
saying. Like, it's just, it really wouldn't be a complete vote and we'd have to re-vote it. So I'm just going to say we table this until we get that from the chief and then we can move forward.
Perfect.
Yeah, once we have a policy.
Exactly. So agenda item number 9, discussion and vote on whether to approve the Council on Aging Library Community Building to move forward to town meeting on 6/1/26.
This is just basically a formal vote, right? Here we are, we're here with the new building. We have the final, not the bid numbers, but we have the final proposed numbers of 26 million and change. I rounded it up to 26,500,000. We know that we have roughly $9,500,000 in combined savings. We know that we have a grant that's just about $10 million. And we know that we're going to have to borrow $7.5 million, and it's going to have to be debt excluded in order for us to afford to pay for that debt. So at this point, I think a vote needs to be made that we're gonna continue moving forward and putting that article on the town meeting warrant to ask the townspeople if they want to vote to appropriate $26,500,000 for this building. And if they want to vote to approve borrowing, we have to actually technically borrow $17.5 million and pay it down with the grant. So we probably will never actually borrow the $17,500,000.
They lump the money back to us, or do we have to, they pay it back over?
We don't take it all at once when we bond fund. We're gonna do short-term bond and then a long-term bond, and at the end, we'll take short-term bonds to get us through the construction, and then we'll take a long-term bond when we're done and we know what we're gonna actually borrow, which should be the $7.5 million.
I only ask because of interest, right? I'm thinking it might not be a ton of money when you're talking about this large of a number, but if we're having to pay money over time,
Right,
and,
well-
and we're paying interest on that throughout the time, if we didn't get the lump sum.
So I'm gonna round up the grant, the $10 million grant. It's paid out in over 5 years. So it's paid out, as soon as you accept the grant, you get your first lump sum payment of 10%. So we'll get $1 million, right? And if you look at the cash flow and the timing of it, excuse me, somewhere in the mid-construction, the cost of constructing the building is going to outpace the grant coming in. So we're gonna need this funding to sort of bridge it. So that's why it sort of has to be voted that we're gonna authorize a $17,500,000 borrowing to be reduced by the amount of the grant, I should say, not necessarily paid down by reduced by the grant. So I don't believe we'll ever actually have to borrow more than the $7 million, $8 million.
Very good.
But we still need to authorize it that
Yeah.
way. So when you see it, the paperwork, it's going to be confusing. But again, I think at this juncture, uh, we need a vote to go forward to the town meeting, which will come up again in the warrant question, but also you'll see coming forward will be the ballot questions. But the first question is, do you want to continue to move forward with this building now that we know the figures and we're here?
It's a lot of money. But it's kind of what everyone expected it to be. And I think that there's been a lot of people doing a lot of hard work to get us to this point, and we need to let the townspeople decide. Okay, yes.
What is the duration term of the clause?
20 years, what I'm proposing, a 20-year bond on Wednesday night's meeting, which will be the joint committee meeting with the FinCom. One of the things that I'm going to be asking the both committees is to look at the two bond structures that they're 20 years. One is a level debt payment, and one is a declining debt, and they're different, and the amount that you end up having to pay in interest is very different. The one that I'm proposing is the declining one, so the $135 cost to each resident or each home is the highest, and it goes down from there. And the reason why I recommend that one is because the actual cost of borrowing is about $1 million less in interest to the townspeople.
And based at the $135 annual cost per property owner.
Yes,
That's based on what value of their property at current rates?
$560,000, which is the average of our town.
The average, and how many taxpayers do we have? Property
I
taxpayers.
think we have
do
about
in town?
3,200 residents.
And that's going to be that $135 over approximately 20 years.
The 135, if we go with
It'll
the
be
decline-
diminishing over time.
It'll diminish. The other way, if we keep it level every year, I think it's 125 every year for 20 full years. So I thought it's much better to do the declining one because it.
About $2,500 per taxpayer.
Yeah, $135, and then it'll go down from there.
About $2,500 over time per taxpayer.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, I don't
$125 done.
when you buy a car, it's not your monthly payment that matters. It's what you pay for the car.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it.
And I do-
finance. I don't look at it that, well, I can afford a $600 monthly payment. Oh, and the car salesman gets me in at $580 $89. Wow, I'm $11 to the positive. That doesn't work for me. So this is going to come up at town meeting. And I think it's important that I'm not real comfortable with the overall cost of the project and the overall size and scope of the project.
Mhm.
And I know that $9.5 to $10 million cookie is very attractive, but it leaves some questions in my mind.
And so I do have a spreadsheet. Like I said, Wednesday, this is going to be on the joint committees meetings, and I do have those spreadsheets, so I will share it with you. I also have the, the alternate ones that, 30-year schedule, 15-year schedule. I have them all. We have an advisor that does these for us, so I have all of that information and at different amounts, right? So I do have all of the information. I certainly share it with you, and you can see what the cost is over the life of the bond.
So backtracking to an earlier discussion which you had with the water commissioners regarding public water supply, this building is going to absolutely require a public water supply.
Absolutely.
And has that been incorporated into the cost of that infrastructure and has the research been done to provide that for this building? Because the building we sit in now, the police station, initially could not be built. According to, it was Selectwoman Pacheco. This building wouldn't be able to be built unless a water line went in on Chase Road to the tune of $5 million. Well, somehow we're sitting in a building that has water in it. And I don't know if this qualifies as a municipal water supply or not, which, so there's, are all of these things incorporated into this project? Because what I found with the building of this building was every single penny of the contingency fund got eaten up. And it was very frustrating as a taxpayer to sit here or to sit at the time at the senior center and listen to, they came back for another 5,000. They came back for another 35,000. They need to do this and nickel and dime us to death. And I don't want to see that happen to a library project, especially with the position I hold.
Yeah, I understand your concern. Just understand where we are in the process, right? We have conceptual drawings and we have conceptual budgets. If this gets approved at not only at town meeting, but the election that's going to follow the town meeting, because this has to have 2 votes, has to have a ballot question and town meeting vote, both have to vote positive. If that happens, the next step would then be to engage an architect to start doing construction drawings, which are very, very different, as you know, than conceptual design. So once the construction drawings are done, then the whole project can go out for a bid. And until we have that bid, we honestly, it's your best guesstimate, I want to say, right? We use our conceptual drawings, we budget based on the conceptual drawings, we come up with a number, and we have that number and we work with that number when we're doing the construction drawings. So everybody's well aware of what the budget is. But until you actually put it out to bid, and a lot can change, because it'll probably take a year to do construction drawings, a lot can change between now and then. I mean, people have already stated that the war is causing, obviously, gas prices have gone up, things have gone up, right? So I can't guarantee you that the price is going to be the price. I can guarantee you if we vote $26,500,000 for a building and the bid comes in at $30 million, the project's done.
Okay, that was going to be my reply, is that, if the vote is affirmed and the override is affirmed for the $26 million project, then if the bid comes in higher, then we either have to go back to a special town meeting,
right,
and acquire get approval for the funding, or
you're done.
it's dead in the
Right.
water.
I mean, we
Okay.
can't do more than what we're authorized to do.
I just want the process to be, and it's important that the townspeople understand the process. And they understand, and they can go and they can look at this meeting. If they, they may not come to the meetings, but they have the opportunity to review the meetings after the fact, and and hear the discussion and hear the answers. And
Yep.
that's what's important. That's why I'm here.
I'm going to equate it to buying a car, like you said, right? When you see those ads and you say you can lease this car for $399 a month, And then you go to lease that car and they said, yeah, but that one doesn't have wheels on it. If you want the car with wheels, it's actually $500 a month. It's the same thing with the building, right? We price it, we do the best we can with what we need. I will tell you that through the process, I'm always like trying to get them to value, like, we can't do that. You need to keep this in budget. This has to stay in budget. And we're constantly checking through the construction design process for the planning. But again, things can change and the cost can go up or down. I will tell you that the trend right now is that the bids are coming in lower than the projects being estimated. So let's hope that continues.
Well-
So Lakeville has a project at like $22 million, and I think the bid came in at 11 million, right? So they're coming in substantially lower.
I did hear there was some compromise as far as the roofing materials, doing something, maybe not a metal roof, going to an asphalt shingle roof.
Yeah, that's
where-
what we
Whereas a metal roof might last 35 to 40 years, and an asphalt shingle roof lasts 15 to 20 years in reality. And, you know, that again, that's a cost that comes up. Pay the bond off, and next thing you know, we need $3 million to put a new roof on the building. I mean, it's not cost effective. You build and you buy quality up front. It costs more, or you get less. You get a smaller building, but unfortunately, we don't have that option of a smaller building.
We don't.
And that's some of my frustration with this whole project. I mean, I'd almost, quite frankly, rather fund it all out of town expenditure, build a smaller facility that we can manage and we can maintain, and build it to our standards rather than to what the state is telling us we need to have.
Yeah. And I think that's a conversation that's come up in the past, right?
We're a small community. We're 9,500 citizens. Yes, we'll bring people in from other towns. We'll come to see the new library. The new library will get old very quickly,
Mhm.
because that's generally what happens. I mean, look at this room. Selectmen's meeting. There are 2 people from the community here.
Yeah, this room does get used a lot, though.
But it does. For some meetings, it gets quite a bit of use.
I think there'll be a lot of different positive other things that can happen there. And a lot of the stuff that you brought up, Mark, I assure you, we've been talking about. I'm going to give you something, is the public drinking water supply, right? That's why they were saying this building couldn't be built here, because it was within the buffer of public drinking water supply. Well, we're going to have unusable land over there that we can put wells in, and then we can backfeed over to that building and over even to the elementary school here.
Well, my feeling was, if this qualifies as if the police station qualifies as a public drinking supply, we could run a pipe right to the senior center. We own all the land between here and there.
Mhm.
That's for the
Yeah, so we have over there, right? So these are things that we've already been trying to discuss behind the scenes. But I agree with you. We don't want to see stuff go running in
Yeah.
a bad direction. So
And the plan is to have the infrastructure put in place over there so that the well will be considered public water supply. The septic will be considered big enough, because we do know that we want future expansion, right? We're going to need a town hall at some point. So the infrastructure is I've been telling them it needs to be able to accommodate that in the future. I don't know when that will be, but that's definitely something that is forefront as well, that we know that that's a need that's going to happen.
The other concern is again the override. The people who want this the most, in a sense, the seniors that want the senior center, who've been waiting for a senior center, a bigger senior center, a better senior center with more capabilities, more facility. Unfortunately, those are the people who are going to bear it's going to be the hardest. The burden of paying that override is going to be the hardest. And unfortunately, the law says you can't give them a tax break because it's unconstitutional. So, I mean, it's a kind of a catch-22 to balance this out and make it all viable and make it so everybody in town feels good about it.
yeah, I mean, I think of you nailed it right there. And then I think of the roughly 160 families that we have in town that go over to the food pantry every week, right? So, it's all a legitimate concern. And then it's weighing out that if we weren't to take that grant and then what we could build would it be able to fit the needs of what we could build, right? The size. So we say, okay, we need to take $15 million and build out a building. Is it going to be big enough to put the library and the COA in all on our own dime? So that's, these are all things that have come up. But I think at the end of the day, the long and short of all this is the work's been done to get us to this point, and we need to bring it forward to the voters to allow everyone in town to make the decision. Hopefully a lot of people show up and voice their opinion.
Vote their opinion,
I don't know if you have
The
any.
cost savings for not using the other two libraries when it's built. We don't know that yet, do we?
No, it's gonna be minimal
Because I
because
know they fall. One we don't own technically.
we don't
The other
own it,
one is kind of just a
yeah.
shack. At
Yeah,
this
they're very, very minimal. I will get that number for you, but it's
It's
minimal.
fair.
Like the electric bills are like $200 a month. The
Okay.
heating bill might be $3,000 a year. It's not a lot. One of the benefits will be getting rid of the annex and moving those
Mhm.
those offices into the
Help save-
COA.
Yeah.
Which that's not even. I mean, that's $18,000 a year, but it's still a savings.
Still a savings.
And their electric bill and their heat bill for that facility. So that'll help somewhat. But obviously, I think I've said this publicly. The cost to run this new building, my estimate is $300,000 a year.
That's the biggest issue. Not the biggest issue. One of the biggest issues is in my eyes is that going forward, right? Because we've seen it with this building.
We've seen it with this building, and I'm basing it basically because everything has to be electric in the new building, and the electric bills are outrageously expensive. So the electric for this building is $6,000 a month. So, and that building might be even a little bigger than this. So, I'm basing it on that. How I'm proposing that we fund it will be that the Amazon TIF will be hitting our books in 2029. And so that's an increase in the taxes on Amazon of 250,000. I'm estimating that number. So that, and then the reduction in the expenses for the annex and the two libraries gets me to almost the $300,000 threshold.
The other thing that we better consider as a library trustee that I'm concerned about is that a 14,000 square foot building library is going to require additional personnel just to basically have eyes, because especially if you have youth in there, I don't think 2 librarians is going to be sufficient to operate that facility. It's just too large a facility.
Mhm.
And, with separate areas, I mean, it's just whether it's security or safety of the individuals utilizing the facility, we're going to require additional funding for the library trust. We're going to need additional funding on top of infrastructure costs. And, to say, well, we can try it with 2, we cannot understaff a building and wait until something goes wrong to remediate it. We've got to eliminate that possibility, especially because the people utilizing that facility are going to be, a lot of them are going to be youth. They're going to come after school, and it's not a serious concern, but it's a serious
Still a concern.
consideration that we can't overlook. We can't just say, well, let's see how it goes. We can't wing it, because winging it usually doesn't work too well.
No, it's a valid bring up. So, all right, I just don't want to get too far off track on it.
I'll let you continue the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Trust me, I appreciate your insight. You know that. So, all right. So I do think at this point we do need to move forward with it. It's kind of what the direction everyone's hard work has gone into, and we'll inevitably let the townspeople decide. So all right. So with that, I'm gonna entertain a motion that we approve the.
I just have one question
Absolutely.
because I don't
Sorry.
know how the debt exclusion thing works. So just say the 125, just say it is. So when the tax rate doesn't go up, right? It's just like it's a percentage. Like here, it's 0.24%.
Your tax rate is based off that percentage.
Oh, so that's what's gonna go
So so that percentage going up added times the amount value that she.
I just didn't know if it was like a separate,
Regardless.
like, okay, you pay your taxes and then there's
It's not a
100.
separate bill. It's all
Okay.
part of your bill. When you calculate your tax rate, we add it to your, so the tax levy just to say it's $10,000, we can only go up 2.5%, so it's 12,500.
Yeah.
Then we take any debt exclusion and we add it to that number,
Okay.
and then we divide it by the residents and the values. And that's kind of where we get to the tax rate. It's really backwards from any kind of budget plan you've
Yeah,
ever
okay,
seen.
I know.
It's weird. You'll
Alright.
be in the meetings and you'll see it.
So when it gets paid off, just say
Then
it
your
just
taxes
falls
may go
off.
down, yes.
Okay. All right. That's how I was thinking it worked,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to make sure.
No,
Yeah, it could,
absolutely.
it will, after 20 years, you might get you'll get a $20 reduction.
Yeah,
Make sure you hold her to that, Chad.
I will.
All right, so with that, I'm gonna entertain a motion that we approve the Council on Aging Library Community Building to move forward to town meeting on 6/1/26.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager,
Yes. Agenda item number 10, discussion and vote on debt exclusion questions on the ballot for purpose of funding the Council on Aging Library Community Building. So,
These are
Yes.
just authorizing us to move forward with the ballot questions for the building.
perfect. That's pretty simple. We need to do it. So, all right, with that, I entertain a motion on debit. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I have it worded in there correctly. I entertain a motion to move forward with the debt exclusion questions on the ballot for purpose of funding the COA and library community building.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. Sorry, I don't know why that one like hiccuped me real quick. So,
Oh, you didn't see me in the planning board meetings, right?
anyways, agenda item number 11.
Steve knows he's laughing over there.
We can't laugh at ourselves. Who can we laugh at?
Someone make that motion.
All right, agenda item number 11, discussion and vote whether to submit a ballot question to the town clerk to transmit the ballot question as reviewed and finalized by town council to the town clerk in accordance with MGL chapter 54 on all other applicable elections, laws, and regulations no later than May 4th, 2026. So this is just calling it out.
Procedurally,
right?
what we have to do, yeah.
Procedurally, yeah, exactly. So it's
So
real.
I will make that motion.
All right, so yeah, so I'll entertain a motion that we, yeah. All right, so he'll make that motion. I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes, aye. Agenda item number 12, discussion and vote whether to vote pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 10, and Mass General Law, Chapter 54, to call a special town election for the purpose of submitting the debt exclusion question to the voters to be held on Monday, June 8th, 2026, with polls open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Same thing. This is just procedurally what we kind of have to do, right?
Yes.
So, with that, I'll entertain.
The town clerk provided you this motion.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Even better. All right. So, my motion. I hereby move that the Board of Selectmen, pursuant to the authority vested in us under Mass General laws, including but not limited to Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 10, and Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21C, vote to call for an election to be held in the town of Freetown on June 8th, 2026, for the purpose of submitting a debt exclusion question to the registered voters in the town and to authorize the town clerk to take all actions necessary to preparing for and conduct said election in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth and the town's bylaws. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo.
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
Do you have the language of the question in your packets?
Yep, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Want to read it or?
Yeah, I just want them to approve that language because they didn't really do that in
Okay.
the reason.
Shall the town of Freetown be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bonds issued in order to pay costs of designing, constructing, and equipping a council on aging, library, community building, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, sorry.
All right, so,
Just make a motion to approve that.
Yeah.
Ballot question.
all right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the language that was just read by Lumen.
So moved.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. Agenda item number 13, discussion and vote on which selectman will be responsible for responding to social media platforms. So
So,
this is an
yeah,
interesting one.
It is, we probably should have done this a long time ago because you know that you can't all respond on social media because it would be an open meeting law violation. So in order to eliminate that and for people to understand why one selectman will respond, but not all of the selectmen is because they cannot, right? They'll be brought up on open meeting law violations. So I thought it would be good for us, and we can wait until Selectman Lopes is here. It doesn't matter, whatever you
Oh,
guys
he's
want
gonna
to
be
do.
volunteering.
We're nominating him anyways.
Okay, I just thought it would
I
be
just-
good to have a formal vote, so that way
Yeah.
it's just called out that that's what's going on, so that people understand more than anything why a selectman don't respond sometimes because they cannot in that arena. Because if all three of you start deliberating in essence on social media, it becomes an open meeting law violation. So I just wanted to sort of clarify it and solidify it.
No, I think it's a good call. I guess the only issue so I read this and I thought Carlos loves to respond, so whatever. But which is good. But my issue is if I'm tagged in something, am I responding at that point, right? Am I having him respond to something because it's my name's being brought up as a selectman, right? They're asking me as a question as a selectman or a town employee, and I'm tagged in it. Am I still having Carlos, I keep saying Carlos, having another selectman respond
So I guess my thought would be, no, if you're being
if I'm
tagged and you're the
individual
only one being tagged, then you would respond to your own. And I think that would have to be clarified amongst the three of you so that you all understand that that's the case. And then go from there. But I think just in general, I know that, and it has been Carlos, right? We know that he's been very, very active on social media. But I just, like I said, my reasoning was lots of people say, well, nobody else, the other selectmen don't talk. Well, they can't talk. So, just so.
No, I think you're doing it to protect us, and I appreciate that because I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone in public, and I'm like, Mark, it wasn't disrespectful that I didn't respond to you. It was that Chad already responded to you, and I can't,
So if I can comment,
Absolutely.
I think you have to pick one. And because, previously as a water commissioner, now as a library trustee, I can't respond. I can ask a question but I can't render an opinion
Exactly.
on something that's pertinent to a board I sit on. Unfortunately for the selectmen, you oversee everything. So every opinion you have matters.
Mhm.
My opinions only matter for the specific matters that I see. So
Mhm.
you would have to come up with maybe a blanket disclaimer that, unfortunately I can't answer this, or Carlos would answer it on your behalf and with a 2-line explanation due to open meeting law.
I was
And people will eventually, the people on social media will hopefully learn that.
Mhm.
And they're not going to be offended by it.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually a good call out. And I know you were saying you were just going.
I was thinking that in my head right before you were saying that we should have maybe like a disclaimer, like Selectman Lopes is our social media representative. We are not allowed to talk about town business. He's the only one allowed to, something
Yeah,
professional.
that's a good idea.
then
Because then
the
people
only-
understand.
The only time I know town council has said, because we had that meeting where they
Yeah.
came in and discussed with us, and he said one of the only times that it can actually be done is when you're up for election, right? Like I can comment on things and say things a little bit different in the manner of rerunning on my platform, right? So that can be a little bit different, but day to day, someone decides to ask a question about the new COA library, and they tag me, then I can just put that disclaimer and, let it somehow and even tag, say, Carlos or
You
whoever.
can work on that and bring it back to another meeting if you.
Yeah, no, and then that way we can vote with him here and not just throw him under the bus. So
Oh, you
Do that in front of him. when
Yeah,
he's-
do it right in front of him to his face.
So to give you an example, I can come to a selectmen's meeting and I can comment about the library and whatnot outside of a library trustees meeting because I'm also an individual, but I don't think I can do that on social media.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be appropriate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. See, for us, it's because of the board of three, we're creating quorum by if Chad comments and then I comment.
but you could still create a quorum if you have a board of 5
Mhm.
and everybody's talking on social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's an open meeting law violation.
Absolutely.
Because
And that's kind of what we've talked about. And like I said, we literally had a whole meeting dedicated to that with town council, just discussing all these things. So I do like that. So I think I feel like I've tabled a whole bunch of stuff tonight, which we normally try not to do, but let's put it aside and try and come up with some verbiage. And then when the three of us are back in, then we can, vote at that point on who. So that way, if he doesn't want to do anything with it, then we can discuss. Cool.
Now on to
I
the,
do think that's a good call. It's 7:36. Do you think I should
oh, Joe Paul.
pause on that? Well,
Are they on?
is there anyone on?
There is a gentleman, Tyler. Are you here for Circle K?
Yes, I am.
I thought so.
Okay. I wonder if we have any other representatives that we should be waiting on or,
I don't believe anyone else is coming.
okay.
Are you the only one coming, Tyler?
It's just me.
That's what I thought. So you
Okay.
have to open it and read this statement.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just pause on our regular agenda and then go into the public hearing that we had scheduled. So, all right. So first I am going to make a motion to enter into the public hearing. All right.
I'll
Go ahead.
make that motion.
All right. I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Caballo?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. All right. So now I'm just going to read this, so everyone bear with me here for a second. The notice that went out. Town of Freetown Public Notice for 8/2026. Notice is hereby given that an applicant has filed for a change of officers and change of beneficial ownership interest application for Circle K Massachusetts LLC DBA Circle K 7518 4 Chase Road, East Freetown, Mass. 02717. Manager Hallie Reynolds. A public hearing to consider the above matter will be held on Monday, April 27th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. Freetown Police Station Community Room and virtually on Zoom. 15 Memorial Drive, East Freetown, Mass. 02717, Freetown Board of Selectmen. So, the meeting's now open. Public hearing's now open, I should say.
Thank you. Attorney Tyler Hensler here. I'm having a little trouble hearing the board right now, but I'll just continue and I'll take any questions when I'm done. This is very straightforward. Circle K, this is part of a corporate reorganization, which involves insertion of a new entity in their ownership chain for insurance and liability purposes. There will be no change at the Freetown location. This is also, I guess, technically an officer change, but it's really just the removal of someone, an individual on the Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth signing authority list. They're doing this at all their Massachusetts locations. The ABCC requires us to file these applications so that the town and the state have updated ownership records. But again, this is just the result of a corporate restructuring and not an actual sale of the business or anything like that. And again, nothing on the at the Freetown location will change.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you hear me better now by any chance?
I can, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I had to bring the microphone a little bit closer because they were saying this before. So thank you for that clarification. I do appreciate it. We had Miss Reynolds in what feels like a few months ago here, being added on. So I was kind of curious as to why this was happening. So I do appreciate that. So it does seem pretty straightforward. Do you have anything for him? questions, concerns? No, okay. All right, so, procedurally now I'm gonna have to I gotta close the public hearing, so, I have to make a motion to close the public hearing though, right? Yeah. All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. All right, so now, I'm going to call, agenda item number 18, discussion and vote whether to approve the change of officers and change of beneficial owner interest application for Circle K Massachusetts LLC. For all the reasons just discussed, I think it's pretty straightforward that we do this. So, with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the change of ownership and change of beneficial ownership interest applications for Circle K Massachusetts LLC.
Selectman Zager. You said to change the ownership twice. That you want to change the officers and the.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you. All right. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the change of officers and change of beneficial ownership interest applications for Circle K Massachusetts LLC. I probably should call out the address and the names.
Sure.
I think. Okay. All right. At 4 Chase Road, manager Hallie Reynolds. Circle K Massachusetts LLC DBA Circle K 7518 4 Chase Road, East Freetown, Mass. Manager Hallie Reynolds.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
Perfect.
Sorry, I kind of fumbled up on that one a little bit. So thank you, sir. I do appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
You have a great night.
Thank you.
Let's use the restroom for 1 minute.
Just all right, so just bear with me here for one moment.
I think I lost my second page.
Yep. Which one are you looking for? For the agenda?
Yeah, because you said 18. Well, I was like,
Hold on. Yeah. Minutes.
oh, wait a minute.
It was the public, the next page, the next one would just be the one with the public hearing on it.
It was just, that's all it was?
Yeah.
18?
So if you look,
No.
see this right here, it's down at the bottom.
This one's.
I don't need it.
Page you need. It's just a one pager that you.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
I
other
got
one
that.
had 18
Perfect.
on it. It's down at the bottom of the
Very
public
good
hearing
shape.
notice.
Okay.
That's how I confused you.
Well, if you
Gotcha.
stepped out, do you want to do the personnel board appointment or?
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. While we
sure.
wait, we might as well jump
Oh.
over to agenda item number 17, personnel board.
Sure. So discussion and vote whether to approve the following appointments. We have Melissa Lopes McKenna to Agricultural Commission effective 4/28/26 until 6/30/27. Marie Kidd as seasonal beach boat ramp manager effective 4/30/26 until 9/8/26. C. William Erickson as parking control officer effective 4/30/26 until 9/8/26. And D. Nancy Durfee as joint transportation planning group municipal representative appointment effective 6/1/26 until 5/31/27. Any discussion?
No, I mean,
All right.
I'm excited that we getting some people
Yeah,
over at the boat ramp.
absolutely.
So, all good stuff.
All right, so we'll entertain that motion to accept A, B, C, and D.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I'll second it. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. All right. So now we're going to jump back up to And item number 14, discussion and vote whether to open, add, remove articles, approve, make recommendations, finalize, and close the annual and special town meeting warrants for 6/1/26.
Yeah, so you want to start with the annual town meeting warrant?
Um, I think I used to have it. Just bear with me. I got to figure out what page I'm going to here.
Do we need to make a motion to open it or? Should we just review them?
Yes, you need to make a motion to open it and then we'll go through each article
Oh, yeah,
and formally add them
Okay.
at the end.
All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to open the annual and special town meeting warrants for 6/1/26.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. All right, so now just bear with me here for 1 second. I gotta get to.
Make sure everyone was like. It's page 27 here.
There we go. Thank you.
Oh,
All right, so I'm gonna read through each article here.
You're on the special, right? Which is the first.
Special town, yep.
That's fine. Okay,
Reallocate funds appropriate for the salt shed engineering. This is for the $100,000 is discussed with Chuck recently about adding in new salt shed. Do you want me to read through each description, or do you think I should just read high level what it is?
I think highlighting it, I mean, yeah, it's highlighted and just approving the warrant article.
Okay.
Are we making recommendations tonight or are we gonna do it another time?
What?
Do you want them to do the recommendations tonight or another time?
I
Like just moving them forward, right? Not making a recommendation.
yeah, I think we could do the other, to open it back up to make recommendations.
Right, and you only have a couple meetings left.
We're kind of tight on time.
Very
that's all,
tight.
That's why, so, I think if they don't recommend it, it shouldn't go on the warrant.
Right.
So I think just then by deciding to put it on the warrant inherently means they recommend it. Unless, yeah, so let's just move forward with them and.
All right, so the next article is to fund the salt shed for the highway department to see if the town will vote and raise appropriate funds for $150,000. This is all kind of the same thing. This is for the site work and the actual salt shed itself. Needs to be done, or should be done. I shouldn't say needs to be done. Fund the match for the Massachusetts Historical Commission's grant. So we got $25,000, but it was a match grant. So commission grant to fund a feasibility study for the village schoolhouse, and take any actions relative there too.
So we don't have the grant yet. We've applied for the
Oh,
grant,
I'm sorry.
but the grant will be we're gonna get notified probably sometime in early June, and we have to have the match by June 30th. So if you see this would give us the match, but if we didn't get the grant, then we wouldn't use the money and it would just go back to the general fund. So it does, I think, say that maybe in the explanation that's what. I gotta find mine. That's what it is.
So the next one is other post-employment benefits OPEB study. So this one is to see if the town will vote and raise an appropriate and or transfer from available funds the sum of $81,000 for the purpose of updating a 2-year architectural, well, I guess we're,
Yeah,
wow.
8,100.
Yeah. Oh, 8,100.
Yeah,
Wow.
wait a
Not
minute.
81,000. Wow. Other post-employment benefits study, and take any actions relative there too. So yeah, this is kind of straightforward. We need to do, right?
It's required, so, yep.
The next one is police station surveillance system and network server replacement. So this one is to see if the town will vote and raise an appropriate and or transfer from available funds sum of $60,000 for the purpose of upgrading technology software systems at the police department's video surveillance system and computer network server system. So they're crazy to think, but their system is coming to end of life. So this is the amount of money it will take to redo it all.
So just to also inform you that the chief originally asked for $66,000. When I asked him for the backup for that, there was a contingency built into the request. We are very tight, as you know, there's $550,000 of free cash. And so there was more requests than what we're putting through. So I reduced it to $60,000, which so should give them enough money to do what they need to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I mean, it was all, I don't see an issue with any of those going forward to the townspeople.
So you want to vote to approve all of the warrant articles on the special town meeting warrant and recommend them.
All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to approve all articles on the special town meeting warrant and approve them. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo?
Aye.
Selectman Zager?
Yes. All right, so now we're gonna go on to the annual town meeting. So first one, town of Freetown fiscal year 2027 operating budget, which that number will come into, right? So,
Yeah, this is the standard article that approves our
yeah,
budget.
our budget. So there's no real number into that right now, right? So, to see if the town will vote and raise, it's no need to really read that one. It's kind of, it has to be there. The next one is salary and compensations for elected officials of the town of Freetown. So this is just what everyone's elected being paid. Moderator, Board of Selectmen, Town Clerk, Board of Assessors, and Tree Warden, Highway Surveyor, Freetown Lakeville Regional School District Committee, wow, and Water Sewer Commissioners. So very standard, happens every time. See an issue with that one. Operating budget for the Water Sewer Enterprise Fund. This is what Mr. Sadik was bringing up before and how they operate. So to see if the town will vote to approve the sum of, we still need to know the amount to operate the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund. So that one obviously needs to stay on there as well. Amend bylaw to increase fees for weights and measures. So this is just so that the businesses pay for what needs to be done legally. It has, so we have like I'm going to use LPG meters is $55. So it's just going to change, and the reason being it changes because the cost is going up, right?
Right.
For us to have an outside company come in and do it, or the state.
Yep.
So once again, this is kind of a pass on. That they're the business, they're the ones who should be paying for it,
Yep.
not the town. So I don't see an issue with that being on there. Spending limits for assorted revolving funds. To see if the town will vote to establish the following fiscal year spending limits for each revolving funds established under Article 29 general bylaws and take any action relative thereto. So this is just money that each department can spend, right? And what was the purpose of this one, Deb? I'm sorry.
So this is basically like monies that come in. So say community programs.
Mhm.
Say that Kylie has a program and she charges $25 to go for paint night. And so she has that money in an account that she can then take that money and spend it. But she can only spend up to the amount that we authorize her to spend
Mhm.
on community programs. So like vaccines, Lori does vaccines. She does vaccines. Well, she gets reimbursed from Medicaid or say for doing vaccines on people, residents. And so that money goes into, it's a revolving fund sort of a
Yeah.
thing, but we still still have to authorize her to be able to spend out of that. One of the big ones, and I don't know where it is, I'm sure it's here somewhere, is the boat ramp, right? We get all the.
Board of
the
Selectmen
monies.
Long Pond.
Yeah, is it on there? Oh, yeah, so, is it on there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
37.5.
Oh, yeah, so that's the biggest one, right? Because we get all the fees from the parking, but we're spending all the money on the parking attendants and the manager down there. And so that authorizes to spend up to 37,500. We have more than that in the revolving fund, but that's what our projection is, what we're gonna need for the year. So it's just an authorization that you can spend that amount of money on your expenses for what you're doing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it 100% does. Thank you for the clarification. Once I saw the vaccine revolving fund, I'm like, I kind of had a funny feeling where you were going with that. So, because that's something that definitely.
These are not tax dollars necessarily.
Yeah.
These are people.
Money coming in. And
Yeah, the town report is donations from people putting ads in the book and whatnot.
That one's another good one. Fund the construction phase of the combined council on aging and library building.
So that's just to effectuate
This,
what we
yeah.
talked about.
Yep. So it's effectuate it. Yep. So no need to read through that one. Continued police cruiser lease agreement program. So that's very standard. It's about us getting, new police cruisers every year. Cable fund appropriation. So to see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the sum of $35,000 from the special revenue receipt reserve for appropriate account known as the PEG access and grant related funds. So we get that every year from local cable access or whatever, right? And we can
So you
use
get
it.
that mostly from Comcast, right? Because they're the provider in the town. They pay us a certain pennies for all the customers on Comcast. So we get funding, but we can only use that money for broadcasting. So like John, yeah, we put all the equipment in this room, and then when John comes and films our movies, our shows, then he gets money and it comes out of that. So that money is basically to pay John to film what we ask him to film and put it on YouTube.
All right, thank you. Approve the petition, general court to authorize recall of members to the school committee.
So this is what we've been working on for some time between the two towns.
Yeah.
So
This has had to be, and tried to give you a little bit of background. Part of the issue is this had to be in conjunction with Lakeville because of,
okay. Yeah.
it affects two towns. So it looks like we finally have the language and everything worked out. So now we can bring it forward to the townspeople. So.
and KP Law drafted, they were town council for both towns at the time, and they drafted the language, so we both have the same language. I will circle back with Andrew, but I believe we're both on the same page there.
Yeah. So that one's I'm okay with. The next one, childcare at town meetings, to see if the town will vote to advise its officers on the following questions, the result of which shall be non-binding, advisory in nature. And taking your actions relative. Should the town appropriate future funds in future years to provide for child care during annual and special town meetings? So it's kind of an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
A lot of parents say I'd like to go, but I can't because I'm home with my kids or whatever. So if we could find a way to be able to.
Yeah, I think he's just,
Go with the
trying to
kids.
see
Yeah.
what the flavor is, if people are interested in that.
And notice that these are non-binding. That question and this next one are non-binding questions, but they are questions. So,
Selectman Zager,
yes.
Mike McHugh is asked, would like to speak.
I can't think of anyone better.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, Jared, you beat me to the punch. I wanted just to emphasize that those two articles are absolutely non-binding. They're basically a survey of the people that are in the room.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Makes
No,
sense.
thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're on, Mike. But yeah, no. So as we both just said, the next one will be the same thing. Amend bylaw to include battery energy stored. Wait, I'm sorry.
No.
I just jumped.
Yeah,
one.
you jumped it.
I'm sorry. Date and time of annual meeting. Notice non-binding to see if the town will vote to advise its officers on the following questions, the result of which shall be non-binding and advisory in nature, and take any action relative thereto. Should the date and time of the annual business meeting be changed from the first Monday in June at 7:30 p.m. to the first Saturday following the first Monday in June at 1 p.m. This is something that's been brought up by several people, is that, it's during the week. I can't make it. I don't have childcare. I got to work the next day. So there's been questions about doing it on a Saturday. So I guess this is trying to also get a flavor of that and see what people think.
It's a good question, but I can tell you, June on a Saturday at 1 p.m., unless we're doing it a little Fenway, no one's coming to our meeting,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I think at the end of the day, this could help some people. I think a lot of people.
A lot of the seniors won't drive at night, and so that's a big issue,
Yeah.
right? We encourage, so, but maybe we have a good discussion at town meeting and get what a good time would be. Would it be better to be at 3 o'clock on a Saturday? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's best, and unfortunately, we're gonna get the people that can make it. Those are the ones that are gonna be there having this discussion. Seniors or the people, although we should see a lot of seniors at this meeting because of the building, right? So we probably will have more seniors. So maybe it's a good time to have that question come up.
And Mike, since you're on, you're getting asked another question. If the room comes up and says yes, then it's a Saturday would be better. Then it's by bylaw, it's statute, right? So we would have to then have a vote separately
Yeah.
in order to change it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's bylaw.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, yep, you're absolutely right. We have a bylaw for our annual town meeting that specifies that it must take place on the first Monday evening in June. As a Board of Selectmen, you have the ability, and we've done that a few times, to delay it later in the month of June. But the fixed date is the first Monday. And of course, with special town meetings, you're free to schedule them at any time needed. Part of the reason for this particular question is over the years, and particularly over the last 25 years, we've alternated back and forth between weeknights and Saturdays, sometimes depending on the time of year, sometimes depending on the issue. You may recall when we were voting on the Lake District question, those were always, for whatever reason, scheduled on Saturdays. Other meetings typically are Monday nights. And what we have is sort of a cross section, which I think you might have touched on a second ago, is we have folks that say the Monday nights are inconvenient because they work the next morning or they can't find someone to watch their children. We have other folks who have said over the years they prefer the Saturday afternoons because for whatever reason they may not like to drive at night and they don't want to come out on a Monday night. So the result of this may be that there is no change, but at least we'll have asked the question and we'll have gotten people's opinion on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
I appreciate that. Right.
All right, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Amend the bylaw to include battery energy storage systems. This additional bylaw will create a new overlay district for battery energy storage systems to ensure safety.
Yeah, so I can kind of speak on that one.
Absolutely.
Planning board. State's coming out with more laws and rules, and if we don't have a bylaw out to manage the battery storage stuff, we're gonna have nothing. So we'll have no restrictions, and the state might allow people to build them anywhere they want in town. So this is going to make it so it's in our control, and
Getting out ahead of it.
we'll have them insert. It's getting out ahead of it. Yes. So we're getting out ahead of it. We had a meeting with a representative from the state about these, and there's going to be a permitting process that they can use. They can use the state's one, or they can use ours. But we have to at least give them the option to use the state. If they use the state permit, they still have to come through us. But the state also has a say if we were rejected or something. But if we put the bylaw in there and put the zoning protection in there, so I want to see if it says it in here. Currently, what we're doing is industrial area
Mhm.
is where we want to put the zoning for them. If we don't restrict it to that, then the state may allow, probably will allow people to put them in general areas and stuff like that. And our thing is, if there's a fire, we don't want them in general areas in town where we also have residential houses and stuff. So we want to get,
I'm glad to hear that you guys are getting out ahead
we're
of that.
trying to be proactive over there with everything they're throwing at the planning board. The state's been rough on the planning board the last few years, so we're getting ahead of it, and it needs to be in probably before October is when they're gonna start their own permit in the state. So we want to get something.
Thank you.
And Nancy's actually been working pretty good diligently on that. She
Mhm.
came up with something good for us, so.
Thank you. All right, add employment positions to bylaw to see if the town will vote and amend the general bylaws, chapter 48 personnel, clarification and compensation plan, in section 48-8 positions by adding the following positions to the list of positions contained therein. The assistant water superintendent. So this is
Okay.
just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just preemptory because, you know, we have water departments growing. We have hired another person in there. We're talking about extending the line up to the Howland Road area, the dump, the transfer station. We're talking about possibly adding a line coming, you know, to Surface Lakeville through Freetown. So the water department may be growing, so I'm preparing to add this position. You know, so it needs to first be in the bylaw before we can even discuss it, so.
all right. Amend zoning bylaw, section 300-1.4, definitions and word use.
Okay, so that's also planning board, and we had a few issues come up,
Mhm.
and we search our bylaws for definitions, and there, maybe in one bylaw, the definition's different in another.
Mhm.
So what we did is we are, we got all the definitions to match, and if we didn't have a definition for something that was important, we put.
Will we have a list of all the ones that?
Yeah, I
everything
believe we
that-
should have a list of that.
Yeah, there's,
It is on file.
it's extensive, so it's on file.
It's
with the clerk.
extensive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we went, Nancy again and Brenda in there, went through and really did some good work on that and got us some definitions. There was a few things where they left, the bylaws had some definitions that were up for too wide of a interpretation range.
I wonder if
So-
there's a way for us to put something together, and it might not, the answer might be very well no, is like what it entails, like a one paragraph. So people, because people like they feel like I would giving them smoke and mirrors, right? Saying something and then we're saying, oh, we're changing a bunch of stuff, and they're like, well, what is it? Well, you know, the list is too extensive for us to go over with you.
So that's a good, yeah, you're right. I mean, the purpose of this is to clean up language, combine duplicate definitions, and add significant terms to the zoning bylaws. I mean,
Well, what is it, right? And that's what I mean. That's to people, to you and I, it's not a big deal, right? You know it. So, but to the general citizen, they're gonna say, well,
are they going to be able to have that list or?
Town council's reviewing it. I'm not sure if it's back. I think they've been going back and forth, Nancy and
Okay.
town council. So when it's solidified and complete, we will definitely be publicizing it. And lots of times I bring copies to town meeting for everybody so that so while they're sitting there waiting, they can review it. This year, and I tried to do it last year, I'm gonna hopefully do it better at it this year, is that I want all the department heads there at tables when you come in, so that they'll be sitting there. So if people have a question about something the planning board's done, Nancy will be there and they can ask her that question before they go in and vote. So they'll be out in front. I like, you know, it was a little awkward last year, but you know, these things take time to iron out, but I want and people don't realize they're going to be there, right? So I want the department heads to be there to answer these questions for people before they go in the room and vote. And I think the more that we let people know that these people are going to be there, come a half an hour early, ask your questions, all the information will be there. We're certainly not trying to hide anything. It'll be, and I'm gonna have a meeting here the week before town meeting, as I've done the last couple of times, for an informational session. So all of that will be here. If I think there's gonna be a lot of questions about that, Nancy has accompanied me to answer those questions too, because I can't always answer
Mhm.
100% of the planning board stuff. So definitely we're gonna get it out and we'll highlight what's.
The transparency,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
100%.
why, and I know, listen, we pride ourselves on being transparent as possible. So I just, when I read that, that's kind of what stuck out.
Yeah.
At me. So, but it sounds like we're already heading in the right direction for that. So
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have us, we'll,
Mhm.
be a little, we'll be prepared for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna be very soon, I'd say within the next week or two, where we can really start pumping out the information. It'll be all cleaned up from town council.
And then the last one is a citizen's petition, which if that's what it is, then it needs to be on there, is the purchase and parcel of land. To see if the town will vote and raise the appropriate and or transfer from available funds the sum of $110,000 to purchase the parcel of land on the east side of Richmond Road, shown as lot 111 on Assessors Map 207, being 42.66 acres. So it's
I do believe that the Conservation Commission is going to purchase this land. So
Mhm.
this is probably gonna be mute, but we can't take it off because it's a citizen's
Citizens
petition, which is really a good thing because we don't have $110,000 anywhere. So I think that they were voting. It could have been tonight to purchase it. So when we get to town meeting, this actually might not be an issue. It'll be on the
It
warrant.
still has to be on there, right? But if we can
Just so
say
you know.
it's gone, yeah.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Mike has a comment.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, once again, Deb beat me to the punch, but that's completely correct. The Conservation Commission voted tonight to purchase the property using their own funds. You will see that on your agenda. I believe it's next Monday to basically approve of them doing that. So the article will be. Deb's right. You have to keep it on there, but you don't need to worry about it at all. It's going to go away on its own.
Good stuff. Thank you. So yeah,
Thank you, Mike.
So that's it. So now you guys got the requested articles. You have this list. I can pass you. I brought it to you in the beginning.
thank you. All right. So now we
No,
have some.
Mike, I mean, while he's on here, one of the things that I asked him to be on here was this bottom one, acquired parcels in lieu of foreclosure.
Mhm.
So if you want to do that one, this is just a new article that our warrant has already gone to town council, so we can't start messing with it until it comes back from him. So this is one that's proposed to go on the warrant, and I think it should be, and I brought a little map. I don't know if I handed it to you, so you could see these little tiny parcels, but Mike has all of the history if you want to hear it, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want me to start with that one? I can start.
Yeah, start with that one, so Mike doesn't have to stay on any longer unless he
But
wants
Mike
to.
loves spending time with us.
I know.
All right. So notice how he didn't say anything. Acquire parcels in lieu of foreclosure. This is to see if the town will vote and authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire the fee in the parcels of land located in Summit Park, East Freetown, being parcels 68, 80, and 84 on Assessors Map 245 by the deed in lieu of foreclosure pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 60, Section 77C for general municipal purposes and take any actions relative thereto. So, Mike, I heard you got some more information on this one for me? Us, I should say, not me.
Sure. Fun history lesson time. So you're familiar with Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? The golden ticket gets you the tour of the factory.
Yes.
About 125 years ago, there were some companies that actually did things like that. One of them was a company in New Bedford that sold, if I remember correctly, the name of it was called Grandma's Nightcap Tea. And
Right.
yep.
Also known as
bought
whiskey.
a box of tea, and if you were lucky enough, you got the golden ticket, and the company gave you a free piece of land 20 feet wide and 80 feet long in East Freetown. You could ride the trolley out from New Bedford and have a little garden on County Road. This is County Road right by the New Bedford line. So what happened was in the 60s, a family bought a large piece of land over in that area to build a home. and they started acquiring some of these, what were called T lots. And the family has moved out of town, but they have a couple of these scattered teeny tiny lots that are left over. What's happened now is they've stopped paying the taxes on them because they, I think, weren't completely aware that they still own them. And they have said that they don't intend to resume paying the taxes. So they would like to give the land to the town in exchange for the taxes. And that's something you're allowed to do. You're allowed to basically accept a gift of land to forgive unpaid taxes. And because these pieces of land are so small, if you took those 3 pieces of land, added them together, the total property tax bill for all 3 of them is less than $25 a year.
All right.
Wow. That's wild. What an interesting story.
And for us to take them and pay for like those.
Happened in a couple of other places. Out on Martha's Vineyard, they called them medicine lots, and it was the same thing in West Tisbury. You bought some kind of medicine and you got a free, extraordinarily tiny piece of land on Martha's Vineyard that's probably worth $2 million now because it's Martha's Vineyard.
That is great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean that. Wow, but cool. I mean, and why not, right? It's a small amount of money that we're forgiving, and then we have it.
Yeah, and it's cost us a lot more money to foreclose on the land.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we've learned lately of
Yeah.
what it takes to do all that. Right?
And the new rules are terrible, so.
So yeah, so, I mean, I'm okay with
All
that.
right.
So Mike, I do appreciate that. So I just got a couple more quick ones I'm going to go through. Raising appropriate funds to transfer into conservation land.
So this is the one they, just so to give you purpose, they give, they ask for $30,000 every year just because they want to have money in their coffers. Unfortunately, so they put in the same one that they always put in. We don't have it.
Okay.
We don't have it. I don't know where we're gonna get $30,000 from. So I pulled it off, and that's why it's on this separate page, because I don't know where I'm gonna fund it from. And they don't have a particular use for it. They just want to put it in their savings in case something comes up in the future. So I would rather entertain possible, when I have free cash in the fall, but again, we're not where we've been. We've been able to do this in the past because we've had the funding. I don't have it. So I would say I don't think that the selectmen should put this article on the warrant.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. And especially, I mean, it'd be a different argument if we said, hey, we need this $30,000 so we can purchase this. We don't have something that we're trying to purchase. We're just trying to get it into a savings account, which is great, but we don't have to pull from. And yeah, no, so I mean, I'm okay with leaving that one out. But that's
And then,
fund the Freetown Lakeville Regional School District.
so this is a discussion about how you want to present the school funding. The next 3 articles are all the schools. We generally put them in the omnibus and they go through in the omnibus. There's been discussion about being transparent and putting them separate. I left them off just because it's new and it's different and I didn't know what the board desired.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand it in good faith, but at the same time, I also, do you really think that it's a good idea to change up the way we've done it? Do you think it makes sense, or do you think that I don't know, to me it looks like are we trying too hard at this point to separate them out? I don't know.
I don't, the omnibus is the omnibus. It's always, it's laid out there, which will be another attachment, right? So we give that out at town meeting. Mike usually goes line by line. And you can, if there's something you're not happy about, you can put a hold on that line, right? And we can have further discussion.
And I guess that's what you're saying it much more eloquently than I was saying it, is that we're separating it out, but it's already in there kind of separated out. So I don't know why we would separate it out there and then again, or completely away from that budget and not just have it where these numbers are going to be called out in that budget, right?
Mhm.
So it's not, I don't know that these numbers need to be in particularly held completely separate.
I would kind of disagree with that because I think most people that are not participating in government or whatever would think that if they call out a certain line item on the omnibus, then it might affect everyone's. Because I know a lot of times we usually go in there and I know the last meeting, I think someone just said they'll make a motion and we passed the whole thing in like 30 seconds.
Mhm.
It was crazy.
I think because maybe because obviously I think because schools right now across everyone's got it in their head. It's a hot topic. I think we should give the people a chance to vote them in.
Well, yeah, I guess, well, then the only other thing you could say is make sure you have people understand that they can put a hold on any line item that they don't agree with.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I guess
I think so too.
I
I
don't,
mean,
yeah.
I don't have a problem with. I think it's actually better to do it separate. And almost to me, I feel like some people out there might. I mean, I understand the schools might think we're trying to put them in the spotlight, but I think other people might think we're trying to conceal the budget.
I
I
can't
like-
say it is.
Yeah,
what
no,
it
I know. Listen, I'm seeing both sides of the
And we're
coin.
putting all three out there. It's not like we're singling out one
Yeah.
or anything. We're putting on, and everything's new. Like,
Well, it might make it, I mean, because I've been saying too, BP's budget is getting,
and it's new, and there's talk going on about BP, just in general, good and
Well, I
bad.
guess so. The only reason why we can say, because I just don't want, like I said, I don't want to make it look like we're trying to hide something or do something. This is here for transparency, right?
For
So it's quite
transparency.
quite the opposite. So I guess we can kind of use this as a kickoff point because of BP coming aboard, and that way people can see it. So that way it's not just looking at the number and saying X amount of millions of dollars. And it's just schools in general. They can see what we're spending on Freetown Lakeville, what we're spending on BP, what we're spending on BA. So,
And that's
So-
been asked in some
Yeah.
meetings. Like, what are
So-
you giving? You know, and they
what
can
if
see.
they, what if, well, I guess they can
Cut out.
do this on any level, but I'm just concerned that they say, yeah, we're gonna pay for the regional school, but we're not paying for BP and slide. What do we do with that?
That is true. Like, what do we
Or
do? with
vice
that?
versa, we're not gonna pay for, the regional, but we'll pay for the other two, or we're not gonna pay for any, like, what do we, I mean, I think
Well, if
either
they
way, they
sit-
have the right to do that now. They
Mhm.
have the right to not vote for the omnibus budget, but then they would be almost declining the whole budget, and they could make a motion to reduce what we pay for the school on the school floor, right, on the town meeting floor. I just think this would be very awkward if one got approved and one didn't. It'd be very awkward. So just think about that. That's what could happen, right?
Mm.
By separating them like this. I don't know, I don't know. I just, that's my only concern.
Do you know how other towns do it?
I think they do it like we usually do it, which is it's all in the omnibus budget. So
Yeah,
when
I
the
think
total budget is like
overall, it's like-
$32 million, whatever the budget number is, and it's line by line, which I've given you the omnibus
Yeah.
budget. So that's what we present at town meeting. So it's in there by category, and the schools are all, by category. So they certainly have the opportunity to, put a hold on those
line on
numbers
that.
and.
So I guess even if we're not going to separate, if we don't separate them out, do we see if Mike, Mike's still on there.
He's still on.
Mike, I'm not sure if you've heard what we're talking about, but is there a way for us to let people know that if they wanted to put a hold, that they could put it on any individual line? Because
So in the years that we have read the budget, I've tried to tell people that they can do that. Usually people who are regular attendees at town meeting are savvy to that, and they will put holds on. What you see sometimes is folks who are not regular attendees or coming for the first time don't necessarily realize they can do it. So you could always do, if nothing else, you could always do a handout, or if Tim has the slideshow, there could be something in the slideshow that reminds people of that.
yeah,
Where you run the risk is like last year, and I think Chad alluded to this. Last year, someone made a motion to waive reading the budget. So, although we said if anybody has questions, come on up and ask them, the entire budget passed in probably less than a minute with no discussion.
Mhm.
And you always have the risk of that being possible. Somebody could do the same thing. I mean, in one way, it's a nice testament to people are confident that the selectmen and the finance committee have done all their homework. But it takes away that opportunity for discussion if nobody gets up and causes the discussion. One thing, and I heard part of this a second ago, but the sound cuts out every now and then. In the past, I know it was in the 2000s. I don't know if it got past 2010 or not. The Freetown Lakeville school budget actually was a separate article, but it was on there twice. In the beginning of its history, you did the town budget, and then the regional school budget was a separate article entirely. It kind of progressed to the regional school budget was in the omnibus budget, but then for some reason it was also a separate warrant article. And because that was a duplication, the separate warrant article disappeared. So it wouldn't be totally without precedent to put it back as a separate article if that's what you wanted to do. My suggestion to you, if you did that, would be it used to go omnibus budget, elected official salary, Freetown Lakeville school budget article. I would make sure that it was right up close to the budget. It wasn't later on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is his opinion on that?
What's your opinion, Mike? If you would be so kind to.
I don't really have a strong feeling one way or the other. I liked the observation that what do you do at that point with, Bristol Plymouth or Bristol Aggie or whatever little bit of Old Colony we may have left? Do you have those in the omnibus budget and Freetown Lakeville as an article? Do you have all of those school items as separate articles? Or do you just leave it as it's been? That's something you would have to figure out, but it would be kind of weird if the Freetown Lakeville budget was a separate article, but all the vocational budgets were still in the omnibus budget.
No, I think it needs, in my eyes, needs to be all or one.
All or none, yeah.
Yeah, all or none, I should say.
Yeah, all or none, yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of like the way it is, and I don't know.
I guess if you
Separating
had the
it out
sense
from
that
clause
somebody was
one.
going to waive reading the budget again, having it as a separate article would at least cause it to be discussed separately on its own. That might be the only real difference. If it had been a separate article last year, the school budget would have still been subject to discussion even when the rest of the budget was not.
Mm-hmm.
That might be because you can do that with any part of the budget. So when we vote on the budget, usually when in the years when we do it the traditional way, I'll read all the general government budgets, then we vote on them. Then I move on to public safety and we vote on it, and then public works and we vote on it. You could do all of those things as separate articles. You could do each segment of government as an article by itself.
Yeah.
It's not been done that way in the past.
No, I don't. That would take things way too long, right?
If yes and no, it part of it wouldn't actually change because that's the years that we read it through everything. We still vote on each segment separately.
Mm-hmm.
So having them as separate articles would take about the same amount of time as it does reading through line by line. It's the years when, like what happened last year happens, anything you've separated out is going to take more time than if it had been folded into everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But last year was also an anomaly.
Yeah.
I think I've been moderator 11 or 12 years, and other than when we were on the football field during COVID and nobody wanted to sit in the 90-degree sun, we've never skipped over reading the entire budget like that before. And I don't think that ever happened when Bruce was moderator. I don't know that ever happened when Bill White was moderator. That was just a very unusual motion that got made last year.
All right, so then normally we're reading through it, we're going through it, so I guess in my eyes, just for keeping it the same, I'm almost
I was,
inclined to keep it the same,
yeah,
um,
I'm leaning
as the
towards
way
yours.
it was, just so it doesn't look like we're changing stuff up on the last minute, yeah. I don't,
No, I'm leaning towards what you're saying. I understand, and then, um, you're right.
so yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna argue that we keep those all in as part of the budget, so. Thank you, Mike,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, yeah, because if someone does try to so Mike,
Yes.
if someone does try to just pass the budget through, which you're saying is actually a compliment to us and the town administrator and finance committee, someone can object to that, right? If they want to talk about the budget.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened last year was, and I'm avoiding, I know who it was that made the motion, but I'm
I
not saying.
do as well.
Not- Yeah, I think we all do. Somebody makes that motion. The motion to waive the reading of the budget requires a second, and it's a debatable motion. So
Yeah, you can. Yeah, okay.
it would be a motion to waive the reading, a second. Is there any discussion on doing that? If none, then you vote and you don't read it. And then accepting the budget is a separate motion. So that's last year we took like a 2-minute pause and said, if somebody has a question about any of the budget lines, get up and say something. Nobody got up. That was a room last year that was not interested in discussing the budget. It may be because they were more interested in discussing the MBTA last year, and we don't have that this year.
Right.
Maybe this year they're going to be more interested in discussing building a library than all the other. But I mean, you never know exactly what has actually drawn people to come.
Okay, thank you.
I'd love to say everything drew people to come, but the fact that usually we have one thing that happens and then 3/4 of the people get up and walk out of the room tells us that's not the case. But
Yeah.
I think they come for you, Mike.
It's the outfit.
The outfit. It's Mike in the outfit. All right, so I'm just gonna.
It's always a roll of the dice.
Well, yeah, I would say, obviously, everyone spends a long time and a lot of work doing the budget, and it is a compliment when they do that, and we want them to do that because we've already, like, this is the budget we made. If they say no to anything, we're back to the drawing board. So I would say that I was just thinking full transparency was kind of the key. That's what it looked like to me. But if they can say no, I want to talk about
Yeah.
this part of the budget, that's fine. So I would say that would.
Yeah, and it's still gonna be
Right.
more than likely to be read out.
I mean, obviously, we're recommending these budget items. We
Yeah.
want it to be approved.
Yeah. So I just got one more on there, which is fund the roof repairs to FES. See if the town will vote and transfer the school stabilization funds for the sum of $160,000 for the purpose of the overlaying of a section of school roof. So this is to repair some holes in the roof. So obviously we need to now make a recommendation of what to move forward, right? So
Yep.
I'm going to entertain a motion that we recommend to move forward with the article to raise and appropriate funds to actually not that one. I take that back. Not that. The only ones we're gonna do is I entertain a motion to recommend and move forward with acquire the parcels in lieu of foreclosure, and then the article to fund the roof repair at FES.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you're gonna,
Bella,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
you're gonna add those to the warrant, and then I need a motion to approve the articles that were already on the warrant. The annual town meeting
All
warrant.
right, so with that, I am going to entertain a motion to approve the articles that were already on the annual town meeting with the addition of the 2 articles as just read.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Carvello,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. All right,
Almost there.
yes.
So now you need to
We can do it.
close it.
All right, so with that, I entertain a motion to close the annual and special town meeting warrants for 6/1/2026.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cavallo,
Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes. All right, we're almost there, I promise. Discussion, vote whether to send a postcard for the special and annual town meeting on 6/1/2026. So recently, past couple of years, we've been sending off postcards to every household, trying to highlight the kind of a little bit of everything, showing them what, where it is, when it is, and what's involved. So it looks like we got some different, two different companies here that can pro for us. We got KLA Printing and Moonlight Design, and we can either go with a 6.5 by 9 postcard, like kind of a oversized postcard, or 8.5 by 11 folded with one wafer, including postage. So, and then so looks. I mean, years past we've been sending off the full size paper, right?
Right, because we have the MBTA communities, so I did a whole back just on the MBTA, which this time I was thinking I would do the COA library building.
There you go. Yeah. And it's really not much more money, so it's kind of foolish not to do it.
I didn't look at that, but I was thinking of drafting a whole page on the COA library building.
So
'Cause there's a lot there, right? And people are that's gonna be what I think drives a good majority of the people to the meeting.
Mhm.
And we
So-
want them to know about it.
So color helps make it pop, right? It doesn't look like just like
Yeah.
a piece of local trash mail that you're like,
I
oh,
think we did color last year.
we did
Yeah.
color. So if I'm looking at this correctly,
Mhm.
KLA Printing, I would suggest that we go with them for the 8.5 by 11 color. I don't see how we wouldn't. I mean, they're the cheaper of the two. And they're actually, it's folded already. The other one's not folded, so it's literally a no-brainer. So,
Yeah.
questions or concerns with that?
No.
No. All right. So with that, I'll entertain a motion that we use KLA Printing to print. I'm going to call it postcards for the special and annual town meeting on 6/1/2026, and go with a 8.5 by 11 color version.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I kind of just rolled in 16 at the same time because it was discussion and vote. So all right, so that's all set. All right, perfect. So now we're going to sign.
Chief deciding these abatements.
My daughter was picking on me about my signature yesterday.
No.
I had to sign something for her. She's like, "What is that?"
I signed my full name. I wish I had just been like XP.
I signed my full name too. Yeah. I think these guys are like scribble.
Yeah.
I always joke I want to look back at what my first signature when I joined the board looks like versus now,
You're a buff.
because it's probably so much worse than it used to be.
It's like me. I have to sign so many things. I used to sign my full name. Now it's like
I thought
DP.
that's how we do it. They all signed below
It's
last.
real messy. Like
Oh, is there two of them or just one?
Nope. That's just.
Oh, that one's gonna have to be signed. She gave me that for the language.
yeah, you have to sign it.
This is backwards because that was how you gave me that for the language.
I have to sign.
Oh. Anywhere. Up forward.
Did everything?
That is it.
All right. So with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Cabral.
Already gone. Aye.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
All right, have a good night.